Welcome to Top 10 Archive. You know, when it comes to new video games, the hype train can come upwards of a year or two prior to a title's actual release. We don't get too excited so early on, but generally it's tough not to get dragged aboard. So, to bring you down with us, we're listing off the top 10 most anticipated games of 2016. As release dates change frequently due to many reasons, we're refraining from listing any to avoid disappointment when a game enters development hell. Number 10, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare 2. We almost feel foolish being excited for another Plants vs. Zombies game, but the first Garden Warfare had so much charm that the promise of a sequel has us shaking in our flower pots. New and familiar faces return to duke it out on new battlefields with an introduction of some fancy upgrades from previous fighters like Pea Shooter and Chomper. Taking a cue from Call of Duty, the zombies have overtaken suburbia, leaving it up to the plants to invade and take back their beloved home. The taco-loving Crazy Dave returns along with his much wiser adversary, Dr. Zombos. Garden Warfare was rich with free content, and we can only assume PopCap Games is promising the same for the follow-up. Number 9, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Human Revolution proved that a series like Deus Ex could be brought back to life after 8 years of being stagnant. Mankind Divided brings back Revolution's heavily augmented protagonist, Adam Jensen, who is living in a world that shuns augmentation. Though Human Revolution was not without its faults, mostly a failed attempt at epic boss fights, the option we had to switch between stealth infiltration and tactical action provided a great level of depth to the gameplay. Jensen's augmentation stole the show, and there's no doubt that Eidos Montreal will be focusing more on providing awesome new augmentations to play around with. Number 8, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. We last left the fast-moving Faith Connors caught up in a conspiracy of media control in a beautiful utopian city. Mirror's Edge focused heavily on parkour and platforming, with combat taking a backseat to fast-paced adventure gaming. While Mirror's Edge ended on a perfect setup for a sequel, EA Digital Illusions CE decided to look backwards, focusing on Faith's troubled past in the City of Glass. Many gamers didn't love Mirror's Edge, but we saw the potential for a great experience that a follow-up could definitely provide, especially with the inclusion of cooperative and competitive multiplayer. Catalyst will allow us to truly explore the City of Glass by following today's standard of open-world gaming, with side missions and story missions scattered about, waiting for us to decide when we're ready to progress. Number 7, Quantum Break. Though we would have loved for Remedy Entertainment to continue on with the Alan Wake series, what we've seen so far of Quantum Break has made it possible to push aside the tortured author for now. Games like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time showed how much fun it was to be able to manipulate time in the heat of battle. So the fact that Quantum's main protagonist, Jack Joyce, can stop time has us itching to be behind the trigger. With Max Payne and Alan Wake, Remedy has proved that storytelling is a stronger point, so it's likely that Quantum Break will feature an intelligent narrative to back up the third-person shooter gameplay. Number 6, Tom Clancy's The Division. Now, Ubisoft has been working on The Division long enough for us to be a little wary of it, but a look into Tom Clancy's virus-infected New York keeps pulling us back in. Knowing the Tom Clancy's series panache for military elements, The Division is likely going to have a very tight feel to it when it comes to combat, focusing heavily on strategic firefights rather than explosive run and gun. Of what we've seen so far of The Division, where we're most excited is with the game's multiplayer elements. Combat is squad-based, meaning players will need to coordinate their attacks to ensure a proper victory. Character and weapon customization is sure to breathe longevity into the game and provide plenty of content to expand upon. Number 5, Ratchet and Clank. The unusual pairing is back under the series' original developer, Insomniac Games, for a complete retelling of the first story. It's been 13 years since we were first introduced to the Lombax and sentient robot, and, with a theatrical movie coming, revisiting their original adventure with the power of the PlayStation 4 behind it is an enticing offer. Ratchet and Clank combined elements of platforming, adventure, and a basic shooter to create a game that is more about heart and the story than trying to wow gamers with cool effects and explosions. The remake will pull from previous Ratchet and Clank titles to create a hybrid of old and new, something that should appeal to both original fans and newcomers. Number 4. What Remains of Edith Finch? What Remains of Edith Finch is more than a game. It's a clever trip down memory lane as we explore the history behind the mysterious Finch family. The game is a collection of short stories that focus on different members of the Finch family, with the element of death playing a big role in each story. Giant Sparrow is hoping to bring to life a surreal experience through the eyes of each Finch family member, hoping that gamers will somehow connect through the experience we share with them. The independent developer impressed us with the unfinished Swan, and the unique concept behind Edith Finch has caught our attention. Number 3. The Legend of Zelda. Now, we don't know much about the 2016 Legend of Zelda Wii U release, but that doesn't stop us from getting that tingle of excitement when a new Zelda title is announced. The biggest change from prior Zelda titles is a move to a completely open world, which promises plenty of exploration. And from the screens shown already, it is a beauty of a world to traverse. We've yet to see what power the Wii U truly holds and what it can pull off, but it looks like The Legend of Zelda will be pushing the console to its absolute limits. We're also dying to see if there's a reason behind the color change in his iconic costume. Number 2. Uncharted 4. There are many reasons to be excited for Uncharted 4. The promise of a larger, more open world, the inclusion of Troy Baker as Nathan Drake's brother, and the massive thrills we've already seen in earlier previews are just 3 of the biggest causes for anticipation. Naughty Dog has put out 3 successful Uncharted games, each one getting more and more elaborate in story and set pieces. So we are near foaming at the mouth to see what the acclaimed developer has in store with the 4th and final entry in the Nathan Drake saga. Graphically, the game looks impressive, meaning every action-filled thrill will be that much more awe-inspiring. Number 1. Doom. The 2004 release of Doom 3 put ID Software's famed demonic shooter back on the map, but it did so by changing tone and proving that Doom can mostly work as a survival horror first-person shooter. Despite enjoying Doom 3, we were missing out on the hectic firefights of the first 2 entries. ID Software must have noticed the error in their ways, because the upcoming Doom is exactly what we're itching for. Fast-paced combat, grotesque and brutal demons of hell, and explosive weaponry bring us back to the glory days of Doom, where it was about more than dimly lit hallways and the occasional pop-in from a towering imp. Amping up the excitement even more is a fleshed-out multiplayer mode and a map creator that may wind up stealing the show. Are you anticipating any of the games on our list? What other games are you itching to play in 2016? Do you have an idea for a future Top 10 video? Let us know in the comments section below, or send us a video clip of your suggestion. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our website, top10archive.net. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and share it with all of your friends.